Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Phatkat Collections. Today I got another Nubeo watch, and this is a watch I've had for a couple months in my collection, and this is their Carbon Red Opportunity Automatic. Check this bad boy out. So in the world of watches, in the world of watch collectors, one thing I think a lot of us, no matter what you collect, right? No matter whether it's affordable brands, cheap brands, shitters, as a lot of some of the YouTubers may call them, not these of course, but no matter what you collect in this world, there's always something really cool about adding a new one to your collection and getting something different to enjoy, right? That could be a new shirt, new pair of cowboy boots, leather jacket, whatever you collect. It's always cool to get something new. And it's always cool to get something that's a little bit outside the box. And that's one reason I really like Nubeo as a brand, is they're always creating a lot of fun, colorful watch creations, right? And this one is no exception. Now, I have reviewed in the past, at least I think I did, a version of this watch in a kind of a blue and white. You know, I don't know what it is about red. Red is not one of my favorite colors, but when it comes to a watch, I don't know. Maybe it just reminds me of like Ferrari or something. I'm not really sure, but I'm always drawn to red watches. And this one is super cool. Now, they're again, the brand here, not the brand, excuse me, the name on it is the Carbon Red. It is available in different colors. I think red is the best one, although you should check out my blue version of this. But what I really like about it is that you're kind of getting away from that just standard stainless steel look, which is, don't get me wrong, it's great. You know, primarily it's what I wear. But watches like this, again, are just super creative. Now, just be noted, when they call this, again, carbon, like a forged carbon fiber watch, but I honestly don't know if the case is actually full carbon or if this is actually plated. When I feel this watch, it does have sort of a carbon feel to it, and I think what they did is these coatings are not, and don't quote me on this, right? I'm just giving you my best assessment. I believe this is a carbon case, but the carbon itself is sort of designed in one color, right? It's molded, it's designed, and it's molded out of just one particular color. And the reason I say that is I don't think this is a type of laminated carbon. And if you look at this, because you have kind of those black lines on it, one would think that this is layers of carbon that's laminated together. And I think this is just more of a coating on top of an already carbon watch. Let's see what they have to say about it. And you guys know I never like to give you guys a whole spiel, but it just says here, introducing a new iteration of the Opportunity Automatic. I've probably reviewed the standard stainless steel automatic in the past. I don't even know what I have in my collection these days. But it says here, it's built from the original Opportunity Automatic with a 48mm case, which I would say, I'm actually surprised. I would have said that's more closer to 50, but obviously I'm losing my touch when it comes to gauging watch sizes. And it just says limited edition to 50 pieces. It says the dial is made from carbon fiber, which gives a unique and mesmerizing look. Again, that is subjective. This may not be for everybody, but I love when watch brands actually do something outside the box and make something that's not just your traditional stainless steel. Is stainless steel great? Absolutely, but carbon is a really cool material. With that being said, stay tuned. In a couple days, you're going to be seeing the brand new release by Spinnaker, their full carbon fiber watch. Super cool. More of a standard size watch, your 40, 42 millimeter. This is a larger watch, right? And although if you have been watch collecting for a while and you're into the really large pieces, then 48 is not going to seem too large, but it does have a really nice wrist presence, right? And that is subjective. So let me just give you guys kind of the specifications here, and we'll show you what it looks like on the wrist. I'll show you some more close-ups as well. So it is powered by a Japanese automatic, and they refer to it as a 3-hands. I'm going to keep pushing on them to update their website. We need to know what the movements are. If it's a deal breaker for you and you need to know before you purchase, by all means, drop me an email. I can get you the information relatively within a day or two. So don't let that be kind of a deal breaker. If you see this watch, you see it on my wrist and you're like, God, I want to add that, but I need, you know, if you're a guy who really appreciates specs, not everybody does, then absolutely hit me with an email or a comment, and I'll get you the information here. Because it is a killer watch, and I don't want that to, you know, prevent you from adding this dope watch to your collection, right? Again, case material is carbon fiber, although when I think of carbon, I kind of picture like kind of a basket weave pattern. I think that might be, I think this is more of like a forged carbon, but for you carbon experts out there, by all means, let me know. 40mm case size, 17.9mm in case thickness. Nice tall wrist presence, lug to lug, 57mm. Applied indexes. It does have that sapphire lens, a checkbox, a feature a lot of folks in the watch community like. 20mm black silicone strap with your Nubeo buckle. Just their kind of logo on the end there, kind of simple. 38 teams of water resistance, 200 grams in weight, and obviously this is they call this red dial color. The actual name of it is carbon red, as I mentioned earlier. Now, as far as the movement in this, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be, let me see if I can read anything on it here. Sometimes you can see through the exhibition window. Show you folks. You won't be able to see, but we might be able to see what the movement is on this. And usually, by the way the rotor's turning, let's see. I'm pretty sure this is going to be your NH series. See if I can. I'm not really sure. You know, there's markings on. All right, so with that being said, it's either an NH35 or 36 or 37. Generally, Nubeo is going to use your NH series or Miyotas in a lot of their watches, unless you start getting into like more of the hand wind tourbillons. But they're using quality movement. So what do I always talk about? I'm beating the horse dead. I say this in every video. When buying a watch, I hear it all the time too. You know, people who buy these watches and this brand are happy with them, right? Generally, people aren't going to buy these. I've never heard of anybody complain about them before. With anything out there, you could always have good and bad luck. Absolutely. I'm not saying that I'm guaranteeing that every Nubeo watch ever made is perfect, you know, last you your whole life. You know, things happen in life. But one guy commented the other day, he's like, I should buy one really nice watch instead of 500 shitty Chinese watches. And this is ridiculous because, again, this goes back to the mindset that folks keep thinking. It's like a 30-year-old thought. It's like this old way of thinking where things coming out of China are cheap. And it's like things coming out of China are amazing. And whether you agree or not, whether that's good for, you know, the economy or not, we're not making that argument today. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about quality. And when it comes to quality, the Chinese have gotten great at making watches. These are not really high-tech things, right? They're pretty basic. And so if you compare the quality of a watch like this to, like, you know, I think one expensive luxury brand we all like to kind of associate watches like this with is Richard Mille, because they're fun, loud. Jacob & Company be another company that's kind of very loud, very flamboyant. I totally dig those two companies, but I'll tell you, at the end of the day, what is the watch made out of? In this case, you know, it's not stainless steel. We do have a stainless steel case back. We do have most likely a stainless steel bezel, which has been plated with a black plating. Depending on the color you go with, it might be silver. I'm not sure about every color they make. I think they make a rose gold bezel as well. We have a carbon case, quality movement. At the end of the day, there's not really much to a watch. We have a threaded case back. We have a bezel that attach. If you were to feel the bezel on this, right? If you were here with me checking this out, this bezel's tight. There's hardly any left and right play. The bezel action is solid. It's not hard to turn. It's not easy to turn. It pops into place. It's perfectly aligned with the 12 o'clock position. You know, so, you know, what exactly would one spend thousands, $100,000 on a Richard Mille when you're getting a great watch like this for a fraction of the cost that are, you know, it is subjective. I think it looks just as nice, right? I mean, everybody's going to see something different. But, you know, at the end of the day, when you buy an affordable watch, you're getting amazing quality. Is there going to be a difference in luxury brands to brands like this? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but it's going to be minor quality differences. And honestly, on something like this, like Mandy Lyon, one of my subscribers, he's a famous musician. He has a $600,000, $500,000 Richard Mille, and he'll tell you, like, compared to the Invicta, yeah, it's nice, it's titanium, it's lighter weight, but it's not like, you're not going to pick up one, and I just use Invicta example because this quality is amazing too, right? So any of these affordable watches, for the most part, if you pick up the watch, you compare it next to a luxury brand, yeah, one might be a tad bit more refined, but all these are really nice quality, especially for money. Which brings me to the price. Use my coupon code, try it, PHATKAT50, but I'll put the link in the description. This is available right now for $249. I don't know if the coupon code will work. Try it. Try to save yourself some money, but it is just an incredible price. And anytime you're getting a watch under $300 that has a automatic movement, I know we don't know which automatic movement, but I'm 99% certain it's either going to be your NH series or a Miyota. It's a reputable, good quality automatic movement. You're going to go to work on time. You're not going to be late. You're going to be able to tell time of the day. It's what do you need? Why do you need more accurate, right? Why do you need COSC chronograph certification, right? You just need to tell time for the most part. This is going to do that. We have an open heart, which is pretty cool. You can see the oscillation of the balance wheel, right? Excellent watch. Screw down crown, good case materials, good screw on case back, stainless steel. Silicone, you know, we don't know the longevity of silicone, but many dive brands use watches on this, so time will tell. The only thing I wish Nubeo would do is make sort of like adapter links. On a watch like this, one could make this a standard lug width where you could put they could put still like a 22 millimeter strap. And what I like about that is that this is kind of proprietary, you know. So if something does happen, you fall, scrape it, you know, something it rots. I don't know if that will happen, but I always like the idea of being able to replace the strap with whatever I want. So that's only my negative thing I have to say about watches that are on silicone or rubber straps. I wish they did something that was just standard lug width. And on a watch like this, it wouldn't really change the look if they just would have made this wider. Now, if you bought this watch and something bad happened to it down the road, yeah, you could probably take it to a jeweler, because this is carbon. They'd be able to kind of notch that out, increase the size of the lug width, and then you could put on, you know, probably a 20 millimeter strap. But that would only be if you were desperate and something happened. And we're just kind of banking on the fact that this watch is gonna provide you years and years of use and enjoyment, if not your lifetime. Because I have watches that are 30 years old that still work. So I just don't buy the whole argument. I've never experienced watches failing where I'm like, oh my God, I should have spent $5,000 on a watch. These cheap Chinese watches keep failing on me. They're just garbage. All the watches I have in my collection, about 500, all work perfectly. And the ones that don't, you know, you're going to get one. Like I have an Invicta with it had a cross-threaded case back. Yeah, it happens, right? It was a $100 watch. I mean, absolutely, I should have returned it, but I liked it enough, and I think it was like one left, so I kept it. You know, for the most part, you get a lot of bang for your buck with these amazing brands. And if you're discovering this video, you know, due to the YouTube algorithm or whatnot, and you're like, oh man, it's just definitely not my style, check out the other watches Nubeo makes. They make a whole ton of watches, and we just came out of their insane 70% off sale. Killed it last month. Referred a ton of traffic to Nubeo, and rightfully so, you know, and it's nice to see a company really expressing themselves creatively, you know, showing creativity and making these really unique creations. Now, I have a lot of ideas for them, but they don't involve me in that. I just basically show you guys the watch, and more importantly, show you what it looks like on the wrist. Now, I have a 7-inch wrist. I weigh 100 and, geez, as of right now, I'm 175 pounds, and I'm 5'8". So this is what it looks like on a guy my size, my height. 48 millimeter, I think I say it many times, I feel like 48 millimeter is kind of a nice stepping stone. Not necessarily even a stepping stone, but if you're kind of tired of the small watches and you just want something that has a little more wow, a little more wrist presence, when you step up to 48 and over, you're definitely going to get that. When you go into sizes like this, you know, your watch is going to get noticed more. And what's really fun about this is being able to accessorize. You know, if you're rocking a red shirt, you know, listen, you're grown men. I'm not trying to tell you how to dress. But for me anyway, I like to be able to accessorize, right? And so if I'm wearing a red shirt, this might be a go-to for me, right? Again, they're just really cool. They're conversation pieces, and this was definitely going to get noticed. If you are a fan of Richard Mille style watches, and you know, I use that brand because everybody sees them, you know, on TV, movie stars wearing them. And if you're a fan of watches like that, you know, and let's face it, I'm you know, a lot of people will say sometimes, oh, you can't afford a Rolex. I could afford a Rolex, right? When you start getting away from Rolex is affordable for most people. Like, you can find a way to get a Rolex. When we're talking $100,000 watches, that's a different story. I cannot afford a Richard Mille, nor would I ever rationalize spending that money on a watch, right? It just, no matter how much money I had, I'm just not wasteful like that. It wouldn't bring me enjoyment to have one really expensive watch. And I do feel like, in my heart, I do feel like when people buy things like that, it's really for bragging rights. It's to say, man, that guy's I'm wearing a $100,000 watch on my wrist. Look at me. Look at how successful. It's showing off. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what makes you happy, by all means. But for me, if I was filthy rich tomorrow, I would never spend that kind of money on a watch. Mainly because I just know that, one, I'm not that kind of guy. I just don't really care to brag about things. And I don't need to show people what I spent on my watch to feel better about myself. It's more an accessory. If anything, if somebody asked me about even a watch like this, a lot of times people will look at that and be like, dude, that must be expensive. And I'm like, nope, $250. It's, you know, I get more enjoyment out of showing somebody what you get for your money than their perception of my success, right? So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Check it out. Awesome looking watch. Several different colors. Great value right now. Great sale. $250. That's super competitive. And it's really nice to see Nubeo making these watches reasonably priced. They are selling out. Most of their models do not last, so give it a go. If you do pick one up, let me know. If I can help you guys in any way, drop me a comment or drop me an email. I want to thank you guys for watching, subscribe to the channel, and take care.